talking about like selling stuff, not just selling yourself and your creation and your copyright and stuff like that for a percentage.
Yeah.
If we're talking about merch, or it doesn't have to be merch, it has to be anything that someone can buy from you for a price.
Yeah.
Tangible or intangible, like from you directly. You at Indepreneur and on your podcast, the Creative Juice podcast. I'm going to link to it in the description, by the way, so people can check it out, and so they can hear more about the other topics that we talked about, like a bit further, because you have a couple of great ones. But you talk a lot about how people want to sell products, but it's not products that make the money, it's offers.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you to kind of, in a simple way, explain to people why not just having a product to sell is enough to make money. You have to offer it to someone, and how that goes, and how you have had success with it in your business.
Yeah. So, direct response marketing makes a big deal about offers versus products. Products are inert. They exist. They're on, like, if you think about it, in a grocery store, right? You walk down the aisles and there are all these things on the shelves and they're inert. If you need them and you seek them out, maybe you'll buy them, but there's nothing about them that reaches out and grabs you. But then you walk by this little cart where they're making this delicious food and you get to try a sample, and they offer you. They not only give you a taste of it to let you know and remind you that you do want it. Like, how would you know you want it unless you tried it? So they are showing you that they can help you by helping you in advance, which is a big thing in marketing. And then once you've tried it and you have that taste in your mouth, they say, you can actually get this and cook it at home. It's super easy. Here's a recipe card. Here's all the ingredients. They're already in a basket for you. So all you have to do is bring this to the checkout, and you will have this thing you just tasted tonight with your family. That's an offer, right? It's much different than a product sitting on the shelf. It reaches out and it grabs you. And it's super easy.
And if you buy like 2, you can maybe get a discount on that.
Right. So,
or 3, or
a product doesn't give you a reason to buy. An offer does. That's kind of the main distinction.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear. You have such a good way of distilling things into very concise sentences. It's something I'll have to learn as I go, making these videos and talking to people, live practically, because this is live, even though I will upload it later to YouTube. Ovo nije greška, nego samo jedan bonus savjet. Ako gledaš ove naše videe i ne znaš otkud krenuti da to sve primjenjuješ, pozivam te da odeš na muzičar.com. Kad si na stranici, klikneš na našu besplatnu procjenu, kroz par pitanja nam možeš opisati u kojoj si fazi razvoja karijere, a mi ti šaljemo brzu dijagnozu u kojoj detektiramo što te najviše muči i dajemo ti preporuku na što da se fokusiraš kako bi napravio svoj sljedeći korak prema izgradnji održivog muzičkog biznisa. Slušali ste promidžbeni program muzičara, a sada nazad na vaš video. That's a little thing I wanted to touch upon. It came about naturally. A lot of people in my vicinity, in my region, have merch and have sold merch in the past, but they usually do it through third parties.
Yeah.
Like merch stores, dedicated merch stores for, rock and roll, punk t-shirts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or there are a couple of that I know of in Croatia, a couple of merch shops, online stores that sell merch of 2, 3, 4, 5 bands. And when I ask a couple of those people, like, how's that going, they say, oh, it's merch, no one buys that, so why are you selling it? That's my next question. And they say, well, you gotta have it, we're a big band, we're a bigger band, we gotta have merch. But we don't count on much money from that. And that's something I hear a lot. It's like, well, I got this Spotify. I got this song on Spotify, and we got an album, but we're not thinking about making any money from it. We're just gonna tour. No one makes money from music anyway. You know, it's like, wow, a lot of apathy in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not unique to Croatia. That's the presumption of most artists have print on demand or some third-party company fulfilling their merch. And, you know, from the smallest artists to the biggest ones, we were talking to the Black Eyed Peas manager on our podcast. And
oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And there was a conversation a little bit afterwards where she was like talking about merch, that they were thinking about doing this merch thing, and she was like, "But I don't know if our fans would be interested." It's like,
wow,
9 million people. Like no one in the music industry truly believes that merch is a viable opportunity for creating wealth. And creating business.
So they don't know who Taylor Swift is, or what?
Right. Well, even Taylor Swift, I would say, to like, compared to how many fans Taylor Swift has and how much money is there to be spent on her products, like, I'm sure none of Taylor Swift's biggest fans would rather be buying their clothing from The Gap, right? They would rather buy it from Taylor, but Taylor's actually doing, compared to how much she could be doing, she's doing a subpar job of monetizing through merch, much more effective at tour monetization. So yeah, like
that's what she does best.
I think the biggest opportunity in the music industry is that people don't realize that, like, their whole business could be merchandise. Their whole business could be physical products. They could make just as much, if not more, money from that than they do from sync licensing, touring, all that.
And that's called an economy of scale, right? Yeah. Where you can, if something is working and you're not restrained by time or your physical capability, you just do more of it.
Yeah.
Just buy more shirts and sell more shirts, and buy more CDs and sell more CDs.
Yeah.
Where you can only do so much shows in a year. You can only appear on a radio station or your music video on a TV station only so many times per day, month, year, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And it's something I think that people are beginning to realize, but when they get to the part where, I have to set it up, I have to figure out if it's, do I have to pay taxes? Oh shit! Where do I source it? How much does that cost? I have a guy who can make me a website, but what does that? I just need this. I won't fuck around with that, you know.
Yeah.
It's just too much work.
Yeah.
I think that most of it is just, it's too much work. I won't, you know. But it's on a level like everything else. It's too much work to figure out the music industry, so I'll just see what happens.
Yeah. I mean,
like in a broader sense, you know.
I, over time, have gotten less and less interested in convincing or converting someone who looks at it and says it's too much work. Because it's like, okay, like,
yeah,
okay, like, if it's too much work for you, it's too much work for you. I'm not even willing to really waste my time in saying, like, well, any measure of success you could possibly have in this industry is going to be like as much, if not tons more work than that.
Yeah,
because it's like, they'll figure that out on their own. I'm not here to convince.
Yeah, and then they'll come a knocking.
Maybe, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just go do something else, and that's fine too, you know.
Sure. Hvala ti što gledaš naše videe do kraja, to nam jako pomaže da nas YouTube shvati ozbiljno, a i ozbiljno će nas shvatiti ako lajkaš, komentiraš, šeraš to frendu, sve ove standardne YouTube fore, znamo da smo dosadni, ali to tak ide, moramo te podsjetiti tu i tamo.